People who've watched my channel for a while know that I'm an Eidolon hunter. It's what my channel is built on, and a lot of the videos I produce are aimed at helping people become better at hunting. With the release of Whispers in the Wall, I have been receiving a lot of questions about what I'm going to do now that Eidolon hunting is dead, in quotation marks. A rather open-ended question, but given the number of times I've been asked it, or something similar, I thought I'd go ahead and address it in a video and explain the situation in a bit more detail. For those of you who don't know, there is currently a clan event active in Warframe, which allows you to farm up Eidolon arcanes in a fraction of the time it would take to farm them up traditionally. In fact, a rank 0 arcane energize, which would usually take in the region of about 2 to 3 hours to farm up from hunting Eidolons, depending on RNG, can be obtained in under 30 minutes at the moment, and that's guaranteed. It could even be 20 minutes in a well-organised squad. Now, for those of you with a basic understanding of economics, you will know that this drastic increase in supply of arcanes will cause an outpacing of demand and subsequently a drop in value. Just looking at this graph on Warframe Marketplace, which shows the price of Arcane Energize, you can first of all see where the update and the event were announced, which precipitated a bit of a panic sell. Then you can see where the update and event lands, and the price drops significantly. This is generally what people are referring to when they say that Eidolon hunts are dead, which takes us back to our initial question. So let's just break this question down a bit, shall we? First of all, nothing has happened to Eidolon hunts. They are still there, you can still play them, and they still give the same rewards. Secondly, Eidolon hunts are not all about farming platinum from arcanes. Some of us, believe it or not, actually enjoy hunting Eidolons and get a bit of a kick out of trying to complete them as quickly as possible. Thirdly, Eidolons are a great source of other things in Warframe, particularly focus, and also sentient cores, which can be used for quill standing to get other useful rewards, so actually still quite useful to players. Now let's just focus for a second on platinum. Yes, I have historically used Eidolon hunting as a platinum income, but for those of you who have been playing Warframe as long as I have, you will know full well that events like these are not a one-off, and this is not the first time this has happened in Warframe. Going way back to when Energize dropped from raid missions, the cost of a rank 3 Energize, which was the highest rank at the time, consisting of 10 rank 0s, was initially close to 10,000 platinum. This value ended up settling around the 6,000 mark after some time, and after raids were dropped and Eidolons introduced, the price came down to about 4,000, which eventually settled at 3,000 for 10 rank 0 Energizes. If you take a second to actually think about that, you'll realise that one rank 0 Energize in the early days of Tricaps was 3 times more valuable than it is now, or a couple of weeks ago at least. So in between that time, what has happened? Well, for a start, there was an event called Scarlet Spear. The rewards were very similar to this event, and you could mop up Energizers just as easily. Then, a bit later, there was an event called Orphic's Venom, which, although not as impactful, still brought down the price of Arcane Energize. Then, and please note this is not in chronological order, the max rank of arcanes was increased from 3 to 5. That might sound irrelevant, but the fact is anything in between a rank 0 and a rank 5 arcane became kind of irrelevant when you were trying to sell it. In each of these cases, it took a long time for the price of arcanes to rebound. You can see from the graph on Warframe Marketplace that the price of Energize had started to gradually increase before this event. Indeed, when I started playing on this account, Energize was worth anywhere between 70 and 80 platinum for a rank 0 because it was still recovering from the previous event. So that brings me to my conclusion about the event at least. Is now a good time to farm Eidolons for arcanes to sell for platinum? No it isn't. And in fact, you should be farming the event as much as possible to get as many high value arcanes as you possibly can, and then, if you're patient enough, sell them at a much later date when the price has stabilized. Now I come on to the new Arcane Dissolution system in Warframe. For those of you who don't know, this essentially allows you to dissolve arcanes into a resource known as Phosphor. This can in turn be used to open what is essentially an arcane pack, consisting of 3 arcanes from a specific arcane set, be it Eidolon arcanes, Quill arcanes, etc, etc. Now this is really what people have been asking me about, and to be honest, it's kind of baffling. I think this is a great system. There are so many arcanes in Warframe which just end up piling up in my inventory and I can't sell them. Particularly Steel Path arcanes like Primary Merciless and so on. This system allows us to do something with them which is great, and there is no doubt that players who had literally thousands of these arcanes lying around will inevitably cause another price drop in the arcane market. But once you've dissolved your stash, how easy is it to actually farm arcanes this way? Well, I haven't looked into this in any kind of detail, but not many missions offer arcanes in any decent length of time, so for the sake of the video we will stick to Steel Path arcanes as an example. Let's say on average you get an arcane from Steel Path acolytes every 4.5 minutes on average. It's a gold arcane, so that's not bad, but if we take a look at the dissolution values, we can see that one primary merciless, or secondary merciless, etc, is worth just 20 Vosfer. That means that in order to open up one of these packs, you need 10 of these arcanes, which equates to an average of 45 minutes per pack. That's 45 minutes for 3 arcanes. Alright, but we can get energized using this, right? Well, yes, you can. But the fact is, there are 30 arcanes in the Eidolon pack, and if we assume for now that they all have an equal chance of dropping, that would mean that we would need to open on average 10 packs before we got 1 arcane energize. 10 packs at 45 minutes per pack would mean on average 7.5 hours for 1 energize. Now in that same amount of time, you could get a little over 8 night cycles done. If you're able to do 6 caps, that will equate to 48 Terralists, 48 Gantalists, and 48 Hydralist captures, culminating in a total of 144 arcanes. Now obviously the Energize can only drop from the Hydralist, but even so, that's 48 drops with a 5% chance to be energized, so on average between 2 and 3 arcane energizes in the same time frame. Not to mention the plethora of other arcanes you can get, which tend to be worth a bit of platinum as well, and if not, you can just dissolve them into Vosfer. Now of course, there will likely be a very slight drop in value due to the added benefit of being able to dissolve these arcanes, no matter how little that may be, but overall I doubt there will be a huge impact in the long run. All of this is RNG based, obviously, but Eidolon hunting will remain relevant when farming these arcanes, at least after the event has finished and it's been at least a few months. So let's round this out. Yes, arcane values have plummeted, and yes, it's not worth farming Eidolons for platinum right now whilst the event is ongoing, and to be honest, probably for a good while after the event ends. But after that time, the price will stabilise as it has done multiple times before. Yes, it will stabilise at a slightly lower point than before due to the introduction of Vosfer, but probably only very slightly less. In the meantime, there are plenty of other ways to gather platinum in Warframe, but the fact remains that Eidolon hunts for some are just fun, and platinum really doesn't come into it. And they're also a great source of focus and also standing for the quills. I'll finish with my recommendation, which is, as always, to do whatever it is you enjoy in Warframe and not worry about what everyone else thinks. Let me know down in the comments if you guys are enjoying the new update and the event, what kind of builds you've discovered, and all that good stuff. And if you did enjoy the video, then please leave a like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.